Hi everyone, my name is Zohar Gonen, and this is my story. It all began in the Garden of Eden when God created Adam and Eve. Maybe going that far back would take too long. Okay, let's start when I was born. I was born in the former Soviet Union, in a place called Kiev, Ukraine. During that time, the Jewish people suffered from persecution from the locals. So when I was 4 years old, my parents decided that we should leave the Soviet Union and move to Israel. Now my dad went into the Internal Affairs Bureau to submit an application for our entire family to leave the country. After they reviewed my family's application, they decided that my mom can't go. She had to stay behind. So we were stuck. Our plan to leave the Soviet Union and to go to Israel came to a halt. We were in a pickle. That is, until my dad came up with a brilliant idea. He rang the Bureau of Internal Affairs from a payphone, presenting himself as a KGB officer, demanding that they should let go the person who happened to be my mom.
Да, привет.
Хорошо, спасибо. Есть, товарищ офицер. From that point on, it was a done deal, and we all boarded a plane to go to Israel. Even as a 4-year-old, I remember landing in the Ben Gurion airport. It really felt like home. And so we began our new life in the Holy Land. We faced new challenges as a family. We had to readjust and learn a new language. I went to kindergarten and then to school. But throughout all this time, I didn't have a place for God in my life. Coming from the Soviet Union, I believed that there is no God. After I finished my studies, I began my compulsory military service. I served my country for 3 years. Many young Israelis are very eager to go abroad after the military service, and I was no different. I was eager to go to visit my relatives in America. I visited several relatives in the United States before I made my way to Brooklyn, New York to visit my aunt. I noticed that my aunt and her family were a little bit different. They were Jewish, but they believed in Jesus. My aunt did try to share a little bit with me, but I wasn't that interested, though I did go along with her to a Bible study and the weekly fellowship. The next day, a couple came to my aunt's house. They were from my aunt's fellowship. They heard that I was visiting her from Israel, and they brought a lot of gifts for me to take back to Israel. Although they weren't Jewish, they loved Israel and they loved the Jewish people. I was so touched. Their love blew me away. And from that point on, I decided that I need to understand what these people really believe. So I decided to read the Old Testament to see if Jesus was really the Messiah. My aunt helped me to find the verses with the messianic prophecies, and I could immediately see the resemblance to Jesus, especially Isaiah 53. Moreover, in that chapter I read that God had laid on him the iniquity of us all. Could it be true? Did God really laid on him my personal iniquities? I flew back to Israel undecisive whether Jesus was the true Messiah or not, but the words of Isaiah were still echoing in my head. So for the first time, I decided to pray. Jesus, are you real? Did you really die for my sin? Shortly after returning back home, God answered my prayer. He became tangibly real in my own room. I felt God's presence. I felt so sinful, so ungrateful, so far away from God, so undeserving. And the verse from Isaiah 53:6 came to the forefront of my mind. We all like sheep have gone astray. Each of us turned to his own way. and God has laid on him the iniquity of us all. I realized I was one of those sheep. I went my own way. There was no turning back. Jesus died for me. I was crying for how I lived my life, and I surrendered my life to God. At the very same time, I felt that the Jewish people, my people, need to know about Yeshua, need to know that he died for their sins. It says we all like sheep have gone astray. At that moment, I felt a burden to tell my people about Jesus, about Yeshua. He is the promised Messiah of Israel.